Okay, let's clarify the name of this group. What's the name mean, and where did you get such an unusual name?
Well, our group goes by the name Mishpachah, and some of the guys found it in a Hebrew dictionary. It's a word that means family, and it fits our group pretty well.
Okay, so tell me about the group itself. Where do the kids come from? Who are involved? And how did you hear about this group?
Well, we're all high school students in the Cincinnati area, and we either heard about it from friends, school, or people who simply came to watch the show. I personally found out about it through social media.
The group does a production called Dead Serious About Life. We present real life situations to the audience so they can learn about struggles that teens are dealing with on a daily basis.
And in order to be involved in the group, we had to go through an audition process.
For me personally, it's been really great because I've been able to get to know people from churches and high schools all over. And I go to a small Christian school, so it's just really easy to get to know people from different backgrounds.
Okay, what is the main focus of the group? Once you've made the group and you're a part of it, what do you think is the main focus?
Although a lot is accomplished through the ministry itself, I would say that the main focus is more of an outreach. Our target audience is 6th through 12th grade students, but I would say that the show can definitely affect anyone. The whole point is that the people see themselves on stage and realize that maybe they're not experiencing all that life has to offer. They'll also notice that there is a better way to live your life.
Okay, this production, I think you call it Dead Serious About Life. Where did the idea come from, and how did you decide that you were going to write the show?
Well, we decided that the typical production were too cheesy and didn't apply to us or what we go through as students. So we really started digging deep and finding out that suicide is one of the major things that kills teens. And every 4 seconds, a teenager attempts suicide.
Who can tell me about the main storyline of the show itself?
Well, it takes place at Spencer and Stephanie's house. Their parents go away for the weekend, so they decide to throw a party. At this party, you meet the main characters. Throughout the show, you learn about how each character has their own problems, their own social groups, and their own personalities. Throughout the show, you get to learn the characters' opinions on very common teen issues like alcoholism, drug abuse, sex, parents, self-esteem, abortion, depression, and the feelings of loneliness that eventually end up leading to suicide.
At the end of the first act, the character Andrew goes up to his friend's room and writes a suicide note. He then takes a gun to his head and pulls the trigger. In the second act is where it shows the character's reaction to the suicide and how they pick up their life after. The show is really pro-life and gives hope to anybody in the audience.
Okay, you're dealing with a lot of really serious issues. Since you've been doing this show for over 30 years, how do you make sure the message is current and that today's students can really relate to that?
Each year, the cast members sit down and tear the script apart. Sometimes we change lines, the issues of the characters, and even make new characters. We make changes to the script to make it real and up to date.
You obviously really enjoy being a part of this ministry. What is it that makes it so different and makes you guys really enjoy doing this group?
Well, I love it, and I bet I could say this for everyone. It has to be the amazing friendships. It's so important to know when you're doing something in your life, especially for us as students. And also because it's so real. And it hits kids right where they are, and that is so important.
And on top of that, if you look at the statistics, it's incredible that we can cover so many different topics and issues that teens are facing and compress it all into the 3-hour time period that we have.
Wow, it seems that you all really address issues that kids are facing during the production. But it seems so depressing. How and when do things turn around in the show?
At the end of Act 1, Andrew commits suicide. Yes, it's pretty depressing, but the audience sees how all of these kids are left to deal with the death of their friend.
But the next scene is at the funeral. There's a youth minister there who begins to share with all the kids about hope and having a better life. And he begins to share with all the kids about a man named Jesus.
In Act 2, the characters invite the kids who were at the party back at the house. Everyone needs to talk about what they are feeling, and they invite the youth minister too, who is at the funeral. Once again, the youth minister has another opportunity to share the answers and hope with these kids.
So, what kind of role does religion play in this production?
It really depends on what you're looking for. Let's say you're struggling with cutting. You can find answers for that. Or if you're being bullied at school, you can find resources on how to help that. Okay, let's say you're suicidal. You can find answers and know that there is a better way. Or let's say you're looking for a relationship with Jesus. You can also find that here.
How has being a part of this group changed you guys individually?
Well, for me, I've been able to grow a lot with my relationships with my friends and family. This group has helped me become more sensitive, and I've become better at dealing with other people's emotions. In my time in the group, I've also become a lot more mature.
Okay, what about the normal, average student who will come to these performances? How do you think them sitting in the audience watching Dead Serious About Life, how do you think that's going to affect their life?
Well, I think it's impossible for a teenager to sit through this performance and not make them think in some way. I mean, they're really going to question their relationship with friends or even how they're just living their life. And they're going to realize that there's something missing, and with Jesus Christ, they're going to live a full life. And by watching this production, it's just really going to make them think.
And like we always say, Dead Serious will make you take a second look at life.